Hello everyone and welcome again. So the next thing we want to do is we want to add a little bit of randomization to the way this texture is moving. Right now there is some interesting movements, but I feel overall it's quite uniform. I mean, it's respecting the geometry and all, but I think it's a bit uniform, so we want to introduce a few more things. The first one is, let's see what this node is doing. So this node is, we're multiplying the texture, and I think I'm going to use it to add a couple more randomization. So the first thing I want is I want to slow down everything. As it gets closer to the edges, I want to slow that down. So if we remember, we did a vector to float, and we've remapped the x coordinate. I'm going to fit range between minus 5.5 and 5.5. I'm going to plug that into a ramp. And I'm going to say it's a linear ramp. And I'm going to go up. And if we change the curve to something like this, we're going to get this nice linear ramp in the center. I'm going to change it to Catmull roam on both sides to get a softer transition. And I don't want it to become 0 at the edges, so I'm gonna extend or make the fit bigger. So let's see, 10 and 10. So it's not 0 here, but stronger at the center. And I'm gonna use this as a multiplier to this part as well. And if we look at the UVs, I think it's too much. So let's put down a fit range. And it goes between 0 and 1. Let's say between 1 and 0.1. It's faster on the borders. So I'm going to set this to 1 and 0.9. The UV coordinate is very sensitive. So as I scroll this down, you will see that it's going backward. See? Is going backward around the sides, and now it's 10% slower or 20% slower than everything else, and that will give it the feel that the center is moving faster. Okay, so the other thing we could do is we could add a noise pattern using curl noise. I'm going to use the point position. And let's take a look at this noise in the viewport. So here, let's scale it. 0.2, 0.2, and 0.2. And we're going to simply add this as an offset to the entire UV. So I'm going to use an add node and add this. It's going to distort everything, obviously, because the values are quite big. But you will see it's very, very interesting. So we're starting to get swirls now everywhere. And if we play, you will see that it's moving in a very interesting way. Now I don't want it to move. I don't want it to move like this. So I'm going to export the offset of this noise. I'm gonna lower the amplitude because I don't want it to be this extreme. So if we change, see the values, so something like this, and now if we hit play, it's gonna get that randomization happening. And let's increase it so it's more visible. Let's try 0.2. So we're gonna see it, swirl and then slow down and then move faster, and that's all thanks to this curl noise. Now the other thing I want is I don't want this to move to stay static, so that's why I added this offset. And if you see, if we move it like this, it's gonna ripple, or like this. So we just have to add some offset. So let's try $f divided by 10. It's too fast. By 100, and I think this is good. Okay, so the last thing is, I think there's a lot of distortion in the UV, so I'm gonna put down a smooth node and smooth out the UVs. I'm gonna lower the quality to 1 and increase the iteration. So with and without, and it just helps, you know, reduce the amount of distortion we're getting, because if we go too extreme, like in this example, it's not very realistic. Yeah, this is nice. Let's template. Let's make the sphere visible to see how it moves around it. Okay guys, that's how I did the UV, that's how I did the geometry, and this is the final result. I'm gonna load in the cache. So file load, and let's do this. So this is the final geometry. You see it has less distortion, but it's the same idea. So let's change this to $F, and it moves a lot slower, so there's that too. But this is it. This is how we could get a texture moving with a noise and follow the curvature or the direction of the mesh, and how we could inject and make and vary it based on a curve or the geometry or anything you want, really. Now, this is one piece of the puzzle. The second piece of the puzzle is the actual UV texture, or the actual texture, because if we map something random, we'll never get it to look. It's just, you know, texture moving. So finding the right texture is crucial to this process, and we're going to discuss that in the next video. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in a bit.